Shalom, family. I know it's dark. I know you can't really see. I'm on my way to the airport to drop off a car. So if you are watching this video, you don't have to actually watch it. You can just listen to what I'm saying, because this isn't really meant to have any visual aids or anything like that. I'm not editing this video or anything like that. I'm just having open discussion. So for those of you who do not know, I am currently on this quest of knowledge, trying to find the true biblical calendar. Now, what started me on this journey, I guess you could call it, is I truly want to be able to serve the Most High and live in accordance with the Bible as best I possibly can. And if it's one thing I've learned in my couple years of enlightenment, or being in the truth, or whatever you want to call it, is that in order to truly demonstrate your love for the Most High, that love is demonstrated in obedience. You show him you love him by being obedient to him. And by being obedient to him, you adhere to his word. Alright? And his word is located in the Bible. So with that said, when I learned of the Torah and I learned of the laws, statutes, and commandments, and that we are to keep them, one of the main things that kept popping up, especially within the Ten Commandments and all throughout the Torah, was the Sabbath day. And the feast days, the holy days, the high holy days, all of the holidays that the Bible instructs us to keep. But the problem of that is there's been countless debates as to what day is the Sabbath day and what day is actually the holy day, or Passover, or Day of Atonement. All of these different things. Everybody has their own understandings, their own perspectives, their own information that they've researched, and everybody come to different conclusions. The Christians believe that it's Sunday, although some people who are of the Christian faith and who've done a little bit more research, they rock with the Saturday more. You got groups like Seventh-day Adventists that observe the Sabbath day as Saturday. You have Hebrew Israelites that observe the Sabbath day as Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. And then you have some of those who read a little bit more and they observe it from Saturday morning to Sunday morning, understanding that the day begins in the morning and the day ends when the sun goes down. But like I said, you got all these different groups, all of these different perspectives. And so, once being of the Christian faith and using Sunday as the Sabbath, and then also leaving the Christian faith and becoming a Hebrew Israelite, and then keeping the Sabbath on Saturday or Friday night into Saturday night, then into leaving the Hebrew Israelite religion and just doing independent study, keeping the Sabbath day on Saturday morning when the sun rises, and ending the Sabbath day when the sun goes down, to now realizing that pretty much everybody got it wrong, including myself. The problem of that is, no matter whether you keep it on Saturday, keep it on Sunday, or different times during the day, whatever the case may be, we as a society is using a calendar that, one, wasn't created by the Most High, two, doesn't follow biblical principles, and 3 isn't even ancient in a way. And that is the Gregorian calendar, or the Greco-Roman calendar. So, if you are familiar with the Roman Empire, the Emperor Julius Caesar instituted a solar calendar with a 365 solar-based year with various months consisting of various days, and that was instituted in 45 BC or BCE, however you keep your time. The Julian calendar was then kept by Rome and various other places that Rome conquered throughout the years, all the way up until 1582 AD, where the Gregorian calendar, the one that we use today, was instituted. Both of which were made by Rome, both of which are solar calendars. The problem with the solar calendar is, if you look at the true biblical criteria for keeping the days, Genesis 1 and 14, chapter 1, verse 14, states that the sun, the moon, and the stars were given to us for signs and for seasons and for times and years. Well, if you have a strictly solar calendar, that's not adhering to the word of the Most High, because it's focusing on just the sun, hence being called a solar calendar. There's other calendars that's out. There's lunar calendars, there's 364-day calendars, and there's ancient calendars, there's Babylonian calendars, there's Greek calendars, all types of calendars that have various days and stuff like that, and break down the months and have different names. But when I realized that we're keeping all of these different Sabbath days, holy days, the entire calendar, we're keeping it only using the Gregorian calendar. So if your calendar itself is wrong, the foundation of everything that you're doing is also wrong, no matter how you are trying to observe it. So the way I looked at it was, it don't matter if I keep it on a Sunday or a Saturday. If I'm using a Gregorian calendar, I'm already catching an L. I'm already taking a loss right now, because this for sure isn't the calendar that the Most High instituted. Now, I've reached out to a couple of individuals in regards to this topic. Some giving some decent insight, some giving me their opinions, thoughts, and emotions. One gentleman I spoke with told me, and I thought this brother was going to help me out. I really thought this brother was going to set me on a path, at least to further my understanding and maybe help me find what I was looking for. And so he told me that the reason why he knows that Saturday is the true Sabbath day is because it's based on his own personal experience, in which he didn't receive any adversity when he kept the other days of the week as the Sabbath. It was only until he kept Saturday that he ran into trials and tribulations. Now, I'm not one to comment on anybody's walk and what they've been through, and I ain't got a heaven or a hell to put nobody in. But when I ask a question, especially in regards to the scriptures, and you give me your perspective, I expect I expect and I ultimately demand, not to sound arrogant, but I ultimately demand that you provide scriptural evidence to back your claim, regardless of what it may be. I can respect someone who is speaking on something and be completely wrong about whatever they're speaking on if they're using the Bible or the scriptures as a foundation for what their perspective is. I can respect that. I might not agree with it, especially if it's incorrect and I know it's incorrect, but I can respect it. But when you just give me your plain opinion or something that has nothing to do with the Bible at all, then that's when we have odds. And so giving me that, and so like I was saying, you gotta support what you're talking about with scripture, plain and simple. So my journey has come to I ain't gonna say I'm at a dead end. I'm just gonna say I haven't received any new information to put me any closer to my goal. I've ran into a couple of places that didn't pan out. The closest thing I found is the lunisolar, right? So like I said earlier, if you're gonna have a calendar, it has to be in accordance with scripture. So it has to incorporate the sun and the moon. The lunisolar does that. The lunisolar does that. It also allows for a 7-day Sabbath, which is also in accordance with scripture. It also follows the new moon, which designates a new month, which is also in accordance with scripture. So you might ask, well, dang, if it's doing all that, why don't you, just keep that calendar? And you got to understand, man, from where I've been, from Christianity to Hebrew Israelite to just independent study, focusing really hard and trying to overcome being in this religious mindset, I don't want to just take something for, take somebody's word for it, or just because it sounds good or it seems like it makes sense. I need to be grounded. I need to get discernment, and I need to get confirmation based on the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, and the biblical, foundational, just set in stone, conclusion with it. My issue with the lunisolar calendar is the 13th month that has to be instituted in order to make it work. Now, I did a deep research into the 13th month and trying to justify it, and I've heard different things in scriptures that try to explain it, and all of those that I read into, or the explanations and breakdowns that I've heard, videos I've watched and stuff like that, it's all like reaching. No one really truly knows a firm explanation of why this 13th month is added, and is it scriptural, is it biblical? The closest thing to that I received was an explanation in Ezekiel, where he lies on his side for a certain amount of time. But the problem with that is when he meets with the elders in his house, you can't determine that he's still lying on his side, or if he in fact got up from his side. So the people who keep the lunisolar and accept the 13th month, they take the scripture and they say, well, since he's meeting with people in his house, he must not be on his side anymore. But that is in itself is an observation, and is not conclusive in the scriptures. The scriptures don't say he stands up, he stood up, or whatever the case may be. So there's no way to clearly determine if he's still on his side or not, which is ultimately the smoking gun, so to speak, for the 13th month. So since I can't substantiate the 13th month, I can't in good conscience keep the lunisolar calendar as of right now. But I will say that the lunisolar so far is the most accurate biblical calendar that I've seen. But my search goes on. I've done some research. Even today I did a little bit of research, and I found out that the original Hebrew calendar, according to Google, was a lunisolar. I also saw that there was a calendar that was found, a calendar that was mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls when they were found, and that may have some type of lunisolar, lunar calendar significance to it as well. But I have to look more into that as well. But ultimately, I want to find the true calendar, to keep the true Sabbath, to keep the true holy days, and be in accordance. Because once I have I have the correct calendar, everything else will fall into place. All the other law, statutes, and commandments, all of everything else that I'm dealing with spiritually, and the things that I'm working on within myself will all fall into place. Because in order to build, you have to have a strong, firm foundation. And a strong, firm foundation for me is Torah. And I'm instructed by Torah to keep the Sabbath. Keep the Sabbath day. So with that said, I hope that this video kind of brought some insight. I know a lot of people view this as a controversial issue. I know that a lot of people disagree with me, because right now, until I find the calendar, what I've been doing is basically using whatever off day I have from work to observe the Shabbat. And they say, well, you can't say anything about me keeping the Sabbath day on Saturday or Sunday when you don't even keep a accurate Sabbath day yourself. And my response to that is, I'm not judging you for keeping Saturday as the Sabbath or Sunday as the Sabbath. I'm not judging you at all. In fact, I'm just trying to bring to your attention that hold on, I saw the police lights. When the police lights come on and you're a black man, you got to be aware. I'm just saying. But I was just saying, like, you can't, if you looking at the scriptures and trying to be in accordance with the scriptures, you can't look at Saturday or you can't just look at Saturday or Sunday when they're both associated with a calendar that's not associated with the Most High. I've been told by other people that the days of the week have always been the days of the week. But to me that's a cop-out. That's like, you creating a false baseline based off of what? Because we don't know what the original calendar was, so how can you tell me that the Gregorian calendar, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or if you're going by numbers and avoiding all of the pagan roots and the pagan origins of the days, and you're just going the first day, the second day, the third day, all the way through the seventh day, that those in the order in which they were set was the same since the beginning. Because while, let's say, someone who keeps the Sabbath on Saturday according to the Gregorian calendar, say I find the true calendar, right? Well, according to the true calendar, Saturday, according to the Gregorian, might be the third day on the true calendar, or the second day on the true calendar. So if you look at the translation of it, or the comparison, you might be keeping every Tuesday or every Wednesday as the seventh day Sabbath, which is incorrect. So until I find more evidence to be able to come to a conclusion, I just want to, keep the Sabbath when I can, to at least observe, you know what I'm saying? Just to do something. Like, I know that I'm in error regarding keeping the Sabbath, but from my perspective, I'm in error regardless. Whether I keep it on whatever day I'm off, if I get Saturday off, if I get Sunday off, if I get if I take a vacation and I have a whole week off, I can just pick a day during the week to observe, regardless of whatever that may be. My perspective is it's going to be wrong regardless, because even if I didn't do that and I just stuck to Saturday or Sunday, as I'm using the wrong calendar regardless. So I just encourage you guys to do some research. Maybe you found something that I haven't found yet, and if you have, link up with me. Send me an email. Send me a message if you know me on Facebook. You know what I mean? Because we can come together, and you bring your resources, I bring my resources, and we might be able to, break some ground and get closer to this thing. Because a lot of people are, in error in regards to keeping the Shabbat and upholding the Torah, when they truly have hearts that set after the Most High. They want to serve Him. I want to serve the Most High. I want to keep His law, statutes, and commandments. And I know that a part of my life ain't right, because until I get it right, I can't. It's like I ain't gonna say I can't eat, I can't sleep, but it's a constant everyday reminder that I could be doing something correct, but I'm not, because I don't have the information. But the hunger within me and the yearning for knowledge, I just keep looking, I keep searching. I done been in the Bible, I done been in the Jasher, I done been in Jubilees, I done been in the Apocrypha, I done been in the Book of Enoch, which also, the Book of Enoch also have another calendar, Enochian calendar, and I thought I was on to something there. I've been all around different texts, different researches, different articles, and everything. I'm trying to find this thing, but man, if y'all got something, y'all let me know. And if I find something, like those people who have been keeping up with my journey in regards to trying to find the true calendar, you guys know, if I find something, I'm posting it, I'm putting it out there. I'm trying to help other people, because if I can help, the goal not only is to get myself correct with the Most High, it's also to help others to be correct with the Most High. So with that being said, you guys be safe. I hope this was edifying, and shalom.